You might ask yourself the question, if you're an atheist, like me, who supports, for example, certain initiatives by the local parish, the local Catholic parish. You might ask yourself the question, and you say, how can I justify to myself supporting that? How is supporting an initiative like that if it comes from a religious background? A religion that I'm supposed to be opposed to. A religion that I'm supposed to be fighting. A religion that I'm supposed to be trying to remove from the equation. Isn't that what an atheist is supposed to do? No. An atheist, first of all, is not supposed to do anything. An atheist is simply a person who does not believe in a God. And what that atheist is or isn't supposed to do is up to that atheist himself to decide. But what if that atheist, like me for example, has been fairly vocal about their atheism and has been opposing theistic beliefs vocally, has been trying to put up logical arguments against theistic beliefs, has been berating people who have theistic beliefs? What about a person like that? Isn't that person being hypocritical? Am I being hypocritical? No, I wouldn't think so. You see, I've never said, at any point in time I've never said that I am opposed to theism. I am not opposed to theism. Just like atheism is merely not being a theist, theism is merely believing in God. And even though I consider theism to be, irrational in the most technical sense of the word and with no negative connotations intended, just not rational, does that mean that I am opposed to somebody being a theist? No. There is more to theism though. There is more to theism than just believing in a God. And that is when it comes to forms of theism that I would be vehemently opposed to. Basically, I would be opposed to any form of theism that I would consider harmful or potentially harmful. And I think there are two very clear indicators as to when a form of theism would be harmful. The first indicator is if that theism informs a person into a belief that is in clear contradiction with his observed fact. For example, to create the young earth creationists who believe that the earth is 6,000 years old. That is absurd. It's not just absurd, but such beliefs are potentially harmful because they deny the facts of life, for example evolution, and denial of evolution can have certain medical implications that can be very dangerous. That's why I oppose those types of beliefs. Other types of beliefs that I oppose are beliefs that breed intolerance and hatred. And you need to be very careful there, looking at belief systems and how they might do that. Because it is very easy to read that as, for example, an opposition to fundamentalist Islamists, for example. Obviously, I would be opposed to those. Because these are people who, informed by their belief, strap bombs to their body, walk into a marketplace and blow themselves up. There's just no justification for that. It's absolutely despicable, and I oppose it wholeheartedly. But it goes deeper than that. it also extends to those who would sit there mealy-mouthedly wittering on about the love of Jesus, and who would look at you with pity in their eyes, but underneath it all, that pity is informed by their belief that you are worthless in the eyes of God. That is a form of intolerance that is quite well hidden, but with a little bit of prodding comes floating up to the top as a festering piece of scum on a pond. And that is the sort of theism that I also oppose vehemently. Because no matter how kind a person like that portrays themselves, underneath it, they are filled with hatred. And that's something that needs addressing. But having excluded those possibilities, you're left with people who are theists, who believe in gods, or a god, in a harmless sort of way. And I would include my wife in that category. Now, my wife professes to be a Catholic. And if you looked at the Catholic creed, if you look at Catholic dogma and so on and so forth, it will certainly appear to be as rabidly intolerant as the sort of belief that I just described. And don't get me wrong, there are Catholics who are still like that. But, as I've always said, a belief is not what is written in a book. A belief is what is in a person's head. And for some reason, Catholicism as a community of people has grown into something that has become a lot more tolerant than that. And most people who would call themselves Catholic do not believe in this exclusivity of their belief system, do not believe that anybody outside their belief system is doomed as such. How they do it is anybody's guess. That is not for me to answer, because I'm not a practicing Catholic, or even though I was brought up that way. So how they reconcile still believing in a God with what is written about that God in the Bible, and how horrible that God can be according to what is written in the Bible, and how they then somehow marry that into this just God image that they have in their mind, I don't know. But what I do know is that it's there, because you can't hide that sort of intolerance. You can verify that by looking at my interactions with some of the more fundamentalist Christians on this forum, and how they respond to me. And that is not how mainstream Catholics respond to me. And that is why I can actually support those communities. That's why I can support my wife, because I know their intolerance doesn't exist. And I see nothing wrong with that. It's not getting into bed with the enemy or anything like that. It is just accepting them as ordinary, decent human beings, like the large majority of human beings are. Thank you.